different strategy and way that they approach the market. And right now it's working out pretty well for them. So we'll see what happens. But in terms of what stocks would be kind of next, I've seen a list of basically just the most shorted stocks from hedge funds. There's both this kind of this cultural aspect of it.
We got to go in, but isn't that rich that you got the big Wall Street firms putting out lists of names that might pop from the retail investor who's going after the Wall Street firms? When there's money to be made, people are going to step in. It's a great combo. We got to leave it there. William Legate, Eamon Javers, and by the way, Eamon's got a piece up on CNBC.
By the way, if you want to fucking know more about Citadel Securities, they recently got fined, or at least they got fined last year, as a market maker for front running inactive client OTC orders. They got hit with like $600,000 or $700,000 in fines for basically holding off on facilitating trades and then trading ahead of it and then engaging in trades for clients. It's pennies. There's additional fines. I think they had to like pay off the difference for people who got fucked over, which is probably a much larger fee. But they did get fined by FINRA for trading ahead of clients. What? This is bullshit. The Redditors aren't cheating. They're joining a party. Wait, why is this Jon Stewart? Like, how do you know this is actually Jon Stewart? Isn't that fucking made up? Stew beef? This is bullshit. The Redditors aren't cheating. They're joining a party Wall Street insiders have been enjoying for years. Don't shut them down. Maybe sue them for copyright infringement instead. We've learned nothing from 2008. Due to the ongoing market volatility, they're currently set to position closing only. This means you can sell and close your positions, but you can't open new positions. Any open orders, such as market orders and limit orders for these securities, were canceled since they would have resulted in a new open position. If you hold any of the listed securities, you can only close your positions. Yeah, this is old news. This is not new news. Wait, really? Holy shit, it is actually him. No fucking way, dude. Please come to my show, Jon Stewart. Janet Yellen accepted $810,000 in speaking fees from Citadel. Citadel's not the owner of Robinhood, guys. Why is Robinhood doing this when they're clearly going to lose customers because of it? Seems entirely counterintuitive from a profit center company. Oh, dude, come on. Robinhood and their relationship with Citadel is significantly more important to them than Robinhood's relationship with like some of those customers who are literally still locked on the Robinhood for the time being. It's so much more important not to upset hedge fund managers from their point of view. They can't run those trades without Citadel running it for them.
And, of course, there's been some discussion and some controversy about Citadel and some vague accusations that somehow Citadel may have been involved in Robinhood's decision, Wilf, to stop or restrict trading in GameStop and other shorts. We have a statement now from Citadel, and this is it. And I'm quoting from the statement. Citadel Securities has not instructed or otherwise caused any brokerage firm to stop, suspend, or limit trading or otherwise refuse to do business. Citadel Securities remains focused on continuously providing liquidity to our clients across all market conditions. Citadel is not involved in or responsible for any retail broker's decision to stop trading in any way. And that's the end of the statement. Of course, as you know, Wilf, Citadel is one of the biggest market makers in the United States. And what they seem to be saying here is we don't dictate business practices to any of our clients, whether it's Robinhood or anybody else. Of course, there is a payment for order flow situation here, but they don't address that at all. Citadel's very clear. They're not instructing or otherwise.
Bro, if the fucking outlets that are supposed to cover these news don't actually even like ask questions about whether this is real or not, whether this is true, and just only fucking read a PR line that they pumped out, then they have no incentive to not lie to you. Like, they literally have no incentive. Of course, there's no accountability. They're going to just say, no, of course we didn't tell them. That's crazy.
Causing any brokerage firm to stop, suspend, or limit trading, or otherwise refuse to do business. See if you can get some more information on that, Wilf. But there seems to be a lot of misunderstanding about what these relationships are. And this is a normal course of business. Citadel is essentially...
Why make shit up if you have no evidence yet? I'm not even making it up. I'm simply stating that, claiming that Citadel has no interest in... Citadel has no interest in fucking stopping these fucking retail investors is silly as fuck. They do. They absolutely do. Not only do they have a personal stake in the matter, they could be angry about it from a market volatility point of view. They could literally be angry about it because D1 Capital, that is about to lose fucking $20 billion in capital losses as a consequence of their short positions, also invested $200 million into both Robinhood. Like, there are numerous ways that these companies are working with one another, but more importantly, Robinhood works with Citadel. Like, Citadel is a client for Robinhood. The way the Robinhood makes money is by selling your trades, selling your positions to Citadel ahead of time. Anyway.
Coming out and stating what a normal course of...
That person is right. If they would be skeptical, you can say they're doing that to 80K people watching. I'm with you, but that's a little conspiracy-like. I'm not saying that they're doing that. I'm criticizing the fucking media for not actually being at least a little bit skeptical about just reading off a fucking PR position from Citadel when they have the means, they have the motive. It's all aligned for them to actually do that with a fucking private phone call to their partners, to their business partners. My criticism of it is more so directed towards CNBC for not being a little bit more skeptical and talking about how the media is supposed to be, again, some form of regulation against these very powerful institutions. But if the finance reporting revolves around just repeating PR lines, Robinhood has drawn down some of its credit lines with banks having at least several $100 million. What the fuck? Your criticism to 82,000 people can be seen as a conspiracy? Yeah, well, everything that I criticize can be seen as a fucking conspiracy, dumbass. The fuck do you want me to do? Okay, I guess I should just turn off the stream then, guys, because you could misconstrue or misunderstand things that I'm saying, and it's very dangerous and very irresponsible for me to do so. So no one should ever have more than 10 people listening to them at any given moment, because when you reach a certain level and there are more than 10 people in your audience, then they could literally misunderstand what you're saying. Thanks, dude. Good job. Good take, brother. Anyway, of course I'm not going to fucking do that. It is top of the hour every hour, which is time for a 60-second ad break. Suck my dick to all the fucking dumb bitches. If you want to no longer see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You could do it for $5, or you could do it for free with your Twitch Prime. Here's the 60-second ad break right now, ladies and gentlemen. You can connect your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account and get one free Twitch Prime subscription for the ad-free experience. Here it is. Here's the fucking ad break. Okay. Yes, I know Robinhood will allow limited trading tomorrow. There also doesn't need to be direct collaboration for Robinhood to know what Citadel wants/needs. Yes, exactly true. The damage is already done. Shorts made hella money today. Dude, it's nothing if the stock price goes up again tomorrow. Hella money. You mean hella money back? And not even. You're wrong. You're literally wrong. Anyway. Okay. Okay, I gotta pee.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. We have been covering the Wall Street Reddit rebellion and the market volatility all morning long. Billionaire tech investor Chamath Palihapitiya says he closed out his position in GameStop one day after joining the trading frenzy. In an interview yesterday on CNBC, he addressed the role of regulators in this environment.
I think this is an example of, if you are going to so massively oversell a company to the extent that you're selling 40 more shares of that company that don't exist, and all of a sudden other folks are like, hey, wait a minute, this is going to get squeezed, and they buy it, that's just a smart trade. Retail rebellion. Wall Street missed it, and they paid the price. So maybe, to your point, Scott, what regulators should do is say, hey, wait a minute, how can we allow companies to be 140% short? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe that's what should happen.
Joining us right now on the phone is former SEC Chairman Jay Clayton. Jay, thank you so much for joining us. I think we're all grappling with trying to understand what's happening here and what it means for the markets in a larger way. You just heard what Chamath had to say. What do you think of that?
Well, look, Andrew, you are grappling with it. And let me just say, I've been able to sort of tune into the show over the last 25 minutes, and you're doing a great job grappling with it, because there are many issues at play here. And Chamath identified one of them, which is our stock borrow market, short interest, how that's monitored. And look, let me make a point here. In terms of short interest being monitored, the U.S. markets are probably the most transparent. But there's always room for improvement. And that's an area where I think there is room for improvement in terms of modernization of how the short, basically how the short market operates. We can get into that in more detail, but it's just one of many good points that have been made over the last several days as people have watched this situation.
So, Jay, if you were in the seat today, and I know there's a transition taking place, Gary Gensler has been nominated for the role that you used to sit in, what would you be doing about all of this? Would you be doing anything?
Well, look, let me just say, Gary Gensler knows markets very well. Alison Heron-Lee, who's the acting chair, she knows markets very well. And more importantly, the 4,500 men and women of the SEC, they are certainly monitoring situations like this all the time. And I have confidence that they are looking for specific misconduct, but they're also looking at what this means for regulation overall. I'm not going to second guess. I've had my time in the seat, but I have great confidence that that Allison and her team and Gary, should he be confirmed, are going to do a good job here. But there are things that your segment raised a lot of issues here. There is a laudable sentiment that people want to be connected to our economy, that they want to participate. But there's also great danger here. Anytime stocks depart from fundamentals, they return eventually, and people get hurt. And I just want to say, look, professionals in this marketplace, people
like, there are definitely people who are gonna get fucking clapped in this, right? There always is, and the big banks are still gonna make all the money in the end, or the lion's share of the profits are gonna go to still the institutional traders. But I don't understand why they keep making it seem as though these guys are relying on the fucking fundamentals at Wall Street Bets, and that's precisely why they're doing this, because they like legitimately thought GameStop was doing great, or was going to do great, and not just exploiting the same exact fucking exploit that hedge funds have been using for the longest time to short stocks in a similar way, but in the opposite way, basically. That's what's so weird, that they're doing this thing where I don't know if they're lying to themselves or they're lying to others. Like, I'm so tired of that selling short of a stock of 140% is fundamental, but the short squeeze isn't.
Who serve retail customers, they ought to be dotting their I's, crossing their T's, thinking about whether leverage is appropriate. I've seen people pull back on margin, take a breath. These are times where you need to take a breath as an institution and ask yourself, am I doing everything right?
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching.
Dang. TD Ameritrade's market strategist. Restrictions are due to unparalleled volatility.
Chief market
it's also bullshit,
at
but
TD Ameritrade. JJ, a lot of people upset at this dynamic and this action that we're just talking about, the tools that they were using to trade disappearing in their hands. They thought maybe they'd be able to buy on a dip. They can't. What's the justification for that?
So, John, I want to clarify the message that we have a little bit. I can't speak for other firms, but I can speak there. I think some people have misinterpreted perhaps what we said at TD Ameritrade. And here's what it is, John. You can still buy any of the stocks. You can sell the stock that you own. You can't go short the stock, but part of it is, these stocks are hard to borrow. So you have to borrow the stock in order to sell it through retail brokerage firms. So right now, it's nowhere to borrow it from. So you're not shorting the stock. But if you want to trade the stock, absolutely. Now, have we put some higher margins on things? Absolutely we have. Why? Because this is unparalleled trading in terms of volatility. And, when it comes to volatility, people want to trade options. I traded options professionally for 21 years. I very much believe that volatility provides opportunity. However, Lindsay hit on something important, and that is education. If you want to buy calls with us, you want to buy puts with us, go ahead. Why? You can define that risk. You know how much you can lose the premium you're putting up. We are not allowing people, John, to sell calls naked short. Why? In theory, that stock could go up forever. And I know you're going to say, well, that doesn't happen to the stocks I buy.
Yeah, only hedge funds get to do that. But that's not the question here.
But, that's how we...
That's not what people are upset about. People aren't like, oh, man, why can't I fucking short... why can't I short GameStop? That's not what people are saying. Why is he even talking about that?
Of course. But in reality, that could happen. We saw an unparalleled move in GameStop as well as many others over the last few days. So we know that this can happen. And with that, we're just putting in rules we think make the most sense for the volatility conditions right now, but still allowing our clients to trade in the way that most clients trade every single day.
And as a CNBC journalist, I don't buy individual stocks, but point taken. JJ, it sounds like there's a difference in policy here between Robinhood and TD Ameritrade, so want to state that. But talk to me about this minefield that retail investors in particular have to navigate in a situation like this. They enter a trade with a certain set of tools and rules of the road, and midway, they're changing. Does it speak to the dangers, the risks in entering into these perhaps crowdsourced strategies of trading at a time like this?
Well, I think the bigger thing is, John, do you understand the risk when you get into things overall? You know, we built a lot of our business on education. We stress it all the time. We saw 3x usage from 19 to 20 as people started coming in more and more to the market. So with that, do you understand the risk of the products you're getting in? Our job is to provide you access to the market, access to these stocks, which we're doing, but you know, are you comfortable with it? Are you willing to take the risk? And do you have the capital to take that amount of risk? And so with that, I believe we've done our job overall of providing that access to the market. I can't speak about other firms. That's, you know, I wish everybody good luck on it because it's bad for the business when any firm is getting hit, so to speak. But for our firm, we feel like this is what we're doing well.
Shepard Smith.
I've never watched so much CNBC before, and by God, it fucking sucks, dude. I really, like, originally I used to think like CNN's fucking annoying and MSNBC's annoying. CNBC is so much worse than all of those fucking channels combined. Like, you literally see the revolving door during the fucking programming. It is wild. Like, at least with MSNBC, like, you know, they wait a month to come back after their, I don't know, paid, like, PR position as they're underwriting, I don't know, marketing fucking material for literally the defense contractor that they're going to end up defending. Whereas, like, CNBC and Fox Business, they just literally are like, please, sir, unsheath thy cock so I can put it directly in my mouth. And also, once I'm done, I will polish your shoes for you with my tongue, of course. Let me give you a tongue bath. Your shoes, they seem to be deserving of polish. Kind of crazy that discounting margin buying, the only risk retail customers have is losing their initial investment. Yeah, but some retail customers have an incredible amount of initial investment that they put in, and that is a problem. I'm sure that there are people who like fucking, who put down like fucking student loans or whatever the fuck. Don't get any goddamn ideas. As I've said over and over again, that was a dumb thing to do and that you shouldn't do it. Don't be fucking stupid. Especially not at this point, dude. Anyway. Winklevoss on the GameStop mania. This is the beginning.
Look, I think this is the
end
beginning
of centralized finance. I don't.
Of the end of centralized finance.
Isn't he like a crypto guy or some shit too? That's probably why he's saying that.
If anyone thinks this is about,
I don't think this is the beginning of the end of centralized finance. I think that just like every other fucking industry and every other facet of our lives, there are going to be new regulations put in place. There are going to be a lot of poor people who suffer as a consequence of this in the end, in the aftermath. Those who didn't pull out quick enough, or those who bought in when it was far too high. Okay? And everybody who said that this was dumb and that retail investors are fucking stupid and poor people shouldn't gamble and blah, 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 are going to turn around and do the I told you so tour. And no punishments will be dished out for the hedge funds that engage in naked shorting or any of that. And I don't know. I just don't think that I don't think that this is going to be revolutionary action, if we're being honest.
Stock or two stocks, they're mistaken. I think this is a much larger movement. I think it's a systemic issue, and I think that people need to fix it, or it's going to get much, much worse. I think especially
because you're already seeing the kinds of actions that TD Ameritrade and other like investment applications, investment apps can do to literally limit your movement when they have to. If this is just a trial balloon for what they can do, then down the line, they can literally do this ahead of time. Oh, we see a lot of movement coming in against a short, against a fucking short that some of these big hedge funds are engaging in. Okay, well, all right, going forward, we're looking at the irregularity in our activity, and unfortunately, you're going to no longer be able to, make margin calls or anything like that on this specific stock. Sorry. Another thing that can potentially do is, and I don't know how they could do this, but and this is an area again where I don't have a lot of experience personally, but from what I understand, I mean, can't institutional traders turn around and engage in activity when retail traders can't? Like retail investors can't, like after market, like after hours. If they wanted to do so. Like retail investors are significantly limited in their actions. Market makers have priority fills in orders to in regular hours. Yeah. So they can just do that if they want to. And please stop sending me that fucking possible Robinhood guy or whatever. Thousands of GameStop employees didn't agree to lose their jobs because hedge funds were trying to force the company to go bankrupt. Oh, no, I fully agree with you. That's precisely why, like, we're one step removed entirely from looking at this from a leftist point of view. The only lessons that you can learn from this are how those who control the free market make sure that it's not necessarily free, or it's only free for them, and that collective action is one way that people can push back against institutional power. Those are the only two lessons here. This is not like a leftist lesson beyond that, because it's not like anybody's fucking talking about the workers. I mean, actually, there's a lot of leftist lessons in it, like how the stock market is manipulated regularly, and those who set the rules do it, and it's fine to do. But those who don't set the rules, who are fucking poor, they don't get to manipulate the stock market. But ultimately, that this is still gambling, as literally every single CNBC personality has told you, and every single billionaire has told you. It's gambling. But it's only gambling when the poors do it. It's not gambling when the rich do it. So, and that no real value has been created here.
There's a much larger issue in the threat of our country and its fragility and what's happening in the inequality. And frankly, the hypocrisy of the political leaders who say, you can't open your business and run your business and make a living during the pandemic. We won't pass a stimulus bill in time. And, oh, by the way, now you can't trade. You know, what's the next thing they're going to control and say you can't do? And what it really does...
Wait a minute. Who is saying all of those things? That sounds like some attempt at whipping up something populist that's not based in fact. Is there one person who is saying all of those things?
Oh my God, that is literally the Ben Shabibo argument, dude. That is like, point me to where the racism is. Like, there can't be systemic control in place because everything is happening at the individual level. Point me to the individual that's directly saying you can't trade. Motherfucker, every outlet that retail traders use to invest in the stock market suspiciously and simultaneously deciding to limit their fucking trades or limit what they can do in the stock market at the same exact time is not like one individual being like, you can't fucking trade. Yeah, no one can be a Nazi because no one literally said, I am a Nazi. Therefore, no one is a Nazi. Classic.
Have you tried out dining in Manhattan in January, outdoor dining? I mean, That's
yeah,
a
but
fact.
what politician is telling people they can't trade?
Well, there's a limited number.
Politicians are the ones. Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, it's definitely the politicians that are controlling the market, dude. Oh my god. See, this is the difference, okay? This is why Wall Street has been able to fucking get away with being the like leading investors in the Democratic Party for far too fucking long. Because as long as we're not talking about like racism and shit, they can literally fuck over the poor all goddamn day. And it's not seen from that same lens as like reactionary politics. What he's fucking saying is literally just reactionary. It's just reactionary politics being demonstrated right before your eyes. The same kinds of arguments.
Governors. There's
Tyler,
one.
What politician is telling people they can't trade? If you've got private companies,
Why would it be?
that are shutting...
Why would it be a politician telling people that they can't trade? That's not what he's saying. He's saying that the institutions that control our lives are taking actions against regular fucking people. They're taking action against regular people and then on top of that, the governments are not actually helping. The governments are not actually helping people get through this process. Now, the Winklevoss guys are fucking dipshits. Don't get me wrong. And I think he snuck in an argument there like that COVID restrictions are bad or some shit. COVID restrictions are only bad if the government also doesn't provide help on top of it. Okay? COVID restrictions were fucking awesome in countries where there were restrictions. And then also on top of that, the government helped you get through it by giving you funds. Okay? By helping you recover. By paying you for staying the fuck at home. If you don't do that second part, then you're a piece of shit. I think that's what he said as well, though. I don't know. He might have mentioned that as well. But when he's talking about institutions, that that control or limit people's ability to trade in a particular way, he's referencing literally all of the fucking apps that decided to no longer allow people to trade. That's it.
Down trading, then blame the private companies. But why are you blaming government for all those things? Be accurate.
There are political leaders who
know.
Name them. Who are they? What are you talking about?
We don't know what the regulators are leaning on the different platforms, and they're clearly monitoring it. I think.
Well, if you don't know, then don't say you know. Like, I know it's convenient during these times when people are emotional to blame the authorities for all these things, but what are you talking about? Who's shutting down trading?
Small businesses had not been able to operate.
That's not what I asked. I didn't ask about small business.
Oh, he's fumbling. He's fumbling the bag.
Operating. We've been reporting plenty on that, and different places had different rules. But you said the same people have been both limiting businesses opening and shutting down trading, like we're seeing today. That just hasn't happened.
Okay, so who made the call to Robinhood?
Was there a call made to Robinhood?
I don't know. Do you think Robinhood?
You don't know exactly. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
I think Robinhood woke up and made the decision themselves to halt the tickers.
I don't know, but I'm not claiming to.
Okay, I didn't claim to either.
You did. You just said that the authorities are doing all of these things.
Go back to the tape. I did not say that. I said people are not allowed to trade. I don't know what the calls made, but I don't think it came from Robinhood.
Do you think that?
I think it's a fair.
I mean, that dude is kind of owning the Winklevoss brothers a little bit.
Question, and I think it's the question, given the fact that you're the journalist, you should be asking, not me.
Exactly, and I will ask, but I'm not claiming to know like you just did.
I'm not claiming to know. I'm claiming to ask, and I'm asking you, did you call
Well, then
Robinhood?
let's ask the question. Let's go ahead and do that. That's great.
You asked Robinhood the question today.
I don't have Robinhood on. I have you on. So I'm actually analyzing what you're saying.
Okay, so you haven't done your job today and emailed Robinhood and asked them why they stopped
If I haven't done my job, then you're implying I'm wasting my time talking to you. But all I'm doing is, if you're putting a
he said you are
statement out there, I want to know what its basis is in fact. If there is none,
dude, why is he fucking this aggressive? See, this is what triggers the fuck out of me. This is what I meant. Okay, for CNBC, they're this fucking aggressive on the Winkeldicks over here, okay, who are just having a media moment for themselves, okay, making a media moment out of this for themselves, whereas this level of skepticism is never applied to either the hedge funds that are overshorting or the fucking the actual people in positions of power at Robinhood, even as the Winkledick dude is mentioning. Like, where is that agitation there when you're asking questions to the people that actually are engaging in these actions?
Your mistake, whatever, we can move on.
Okay, I think if you look at the tape, I didn't make the comment you're saying I did. What I'm saying is someone needs to ask the question to Robinhood, and it should be you. It shouldn't be me asking you on my segment.
Here, I have the statement from Robinhood. Here it is. We continue.
I never heard him get this way with the fucking TD Ameritrade guy, you know? The TD Ameritrade guy was great. Like, thank you, sir. Please, sir, would you like to polish a separate coat of paint on your boots?
Monitor the markets and make changes where necessary. In light of recent volatility, we are restricting transactions for certain securities to position closing only.
Shepard Smith here.
That's not a reason. That's just okay. That sucks. Former SEC Commissioner on GameStop Frenzy, certainly valid questions about market manipulation. House Financial Services, GameStop short squeeze pits small investors versus hedge fund and short sellers.
And something remarkable is happening in this economy as well, and that's what we talked about yesterday, what's happening this morning with GameStop, this video game store up 2,500% this year. But then this morning, something huge happened, and that's this trading app, Robinhood, just halted anyone's ability to buy GameStop, to buy AMC movie theaters, to buy Nokia stock. Can you explain why it matters so much? And also, isn't this really just a pushback against the establishment?
Yes.
Big picture?
It absolutely is a pushback against the establishment. It's almost as if these social media platforms, there's this online populism that is pushing back at the Wall Street insiders and the Wall Street elite, and they're actually piling on into some of these stocks.
This is it, dude. I mean, this is literally it. Like, that's it, dude. That's it. If their legitimate concern was that, like, there was too many irregularities happening or that people were putting in too much money, first of all, it's not up to them. Like, they never fucking do that when you're losing money. So why are they doing that for the first time ever when you're winning money, when you're making money? That's really fucked up. But secondly, like, why are they limiting the trades on AMC? Like, AMC's AMC stock prices are not that fucking high. Like, they're not, AMC's not having like its GameStop moment. If you were to do it just on GameStop is one thing, but they're literally doing it on every single stock that's been over-shorted or shorted by hedge funds that's now getting pumped by Wall Street, by the Wall Street Bets retail investors, and also just others that are along for the ride. AMC went up 200% in a day. I know, but it's not like fucking GameStop, brother. BlackBerry, Naked. Check Wall Street Bets. Some old dude straight up said they're covering their asses and they'll allow stuff to go back to normal when GameStop is at 17. I already watched that video. He said the correct pricing for the GameStop stock is $17, and he cares about the people that are losing. He cares about people that are going to lose money. SPCE is still not banned and it's shorted 80%. It's literally only meme stocks. Yeah, the ones that Wall Street Bets have talked about. And they're pushing.
To really hurt the professional short sellers. And the more these stocks go up, the more the big guys are getting creamed and losing billions of dollars. So it's being cheered as sort of this democratization of Wall Street. Remember, over the past year or two, most of these online brokers, they don't even charge a brokerage fee anymore of $7.99 or $10.99. So it's free for someone to be on one of these Reddit, Wall Street Bets forums and get together with a whole bunch of other people and start buying this stock. You know, I talked to somebody today whose son is 25 years old and made $20,000 in 3 days on GameStop and paid off his student loans, half of his student loans. That's the kind of story that they're spreading, and they want a piece of that. buyer beware. I'm really worried here that as they start to put restrictions in on what you can buy and where you can buy it, that, when the music stops, you're not going to have a chair. So please be careful out there, guys. This is a big game.
Only half? Are you guys surprised? Dude, 20 grand only pays half of your student loans? Yeah, no shit. Fuck you mean? Yeah.
Being played on some of these social media sites. And I love the little guy getting in there and beating the big guns when they can, but just be careful.
But how is it? Go ahead.
The get poor stories always outnumber the get rich stories in these scenarios.
Also, the fundamentals are bullshit, as I've talked about time and time again. Like, GameStop could literally take GameStop could now literally take out a fuckload of money, okay, and go out and purchase an esports organization. They could restructure in the way that they originally intended to, even before this, while they were getting shorted out the asshole. And then all of a sudden, the fundamentals change. And that's the point. That's why the fundamentals are fucking bullshit, okay? And every single person that said, like, GameStop just does not have the fucking fundamentals would literally turn around and say, oh, never mind, we were wrong. They have the fundamentals. Because it's all fake.
Yeah, a lot of these folks feel like this whole thing is rigged against them, and this is their chance, with social media, their chance to actually have a voice.
But how is it fair for them then? I mean, I read Reddit is saying, look, we want to protect our investors. But by the way, if you cut them off from making the moves that they want to make with their own money, for whatever reason they want to make it, and you don't cut off the hedge funds and you don't cut out Wall Street, how is that not rigging the game?
That's exactly what people are complaining about this morning. You know, why is it distortion when it's small traders banding together and buying up a stock where they may see legitimate glimmers of hope about a restructuring or something, and it's not gaming the system when a short seller can, sell shares of a company they don't even own, and punish those of the investors, including retirement funds that may be invested in a company. It's a fascinating story, guys. It really is.
All right, let's talk about the GameStop saga already having wider political ramifications too. Senator Elizabeth Warren demanding that U.S. regulators rein in the hedge funds and the private equity firms that she says has treated the market like a casino. Perhaps no surprise there, but Jordan Belfort, who's the Wolf of Wall Street trader convicted of stock manipulation during the dot-com boom, told Richard Quest last.
Yeah, why hasn't GameStop said anything? Like, have they said anything? Did anyone reach out to the fucking GameStop people on this? That's one thing that I'm wondering. I feel like they're just sitting and just fucking waiting. You know what I mean? You can't say anything because, like, you only have a lot to lose at that point. If you say anything, I mean, that's not GameStop will not say anything until they are sure they won't be investigated. Probably better to be quiet. That's not GameStop, that's GameSpot. I wonder how many people genuinely think this is the same though. Everybody asking how much is GameStop, but no one's asking how is GameSpot. Rough day for Green Arrow. People bought AMCX the other day thinking it was AMC. I know that the deep value dude is like down fucking $14 million currently, and he's still in and he's still holding. Yeah, obviously. He's still up. He's just down today. Yeah, I know he's still up, dude. Isn't it like $60,000? Isn't it from $60,000 to like 44 million at its peak? I think it hit. What is this? In which an American libertarian breaks his leg in Scandinavia. Am I being detained? Good one. He put 50K and at its peak, I think he had like, he put in 50K and at its peak, he had like fucking. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I think it was like 55. What did he turn? He put in 750 to buy 50K shares. Oh, he put 700,000. I thought he put, oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I thought he. I feel like it will be really hard to move that kind of money into a bank. Yes. No, he didn't. He put 50K. I thought he started off with $50,000. He cashed some out to buy back more. That's where the 770K basis comes from. Oh, okay. I got it. Damn. Stuff of legends, dude. Stuff of legend. I do. Part of me does get all fucking boomer for a second, though. Part of me does get real boomer for a second, and it does. I am a little worried that, you know, this gets a lot of people excited and has them thinking that they too can fucking turn 50K into. They too can turn $50,000 into fucking $500,000 or $50 million even, and that is genuinely not something that's going to happen to you. Like, I'm here to tell you that it's not going to happen to you. So please stop being fucking stupid. And don't put in a lot more. Don't put in money. It's the same principle as gambling, okay? You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. And also on top of that, don't fucking put in more than disposable income that you would, you know, spend on something else. Yeah. Also, you never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done.
To take action.
The SEC and NEC are playing catch-up ball. They're always trying to figure out how do you stop it. So eventually, they will do something here, and they'll come up with some laws or.
If there's anyone knows the SEC fucking playing catch-up, is this motherfucker, dude. Oh, no.
Circuit breakers that don't allow this to happen, but that could take 3 to 6 months. It will eventually, I believe, stop, and it should.
The talk on Wall Street today is that the SEC, the regulator, is now hearing from hedge funds pleading for some form of action. Jacob Frenkel joins us now. He's a partner at the Washington, D.C. law firm Dickinson Wright, and he's a former SEC senior counsel. Jacob, fantastic to have you on the show. I want to break this down, actually, into 3 things, if we can. There's the first thing, which is the sort of market volatility and the soaring of these specific share prices. Then we've got the action and the behaviors of short sellers in the market and the role they play. And then we've got the Reddit revolt, those on social media that were talking about buying these stocks. Can we start there? From an SEC perspective, do you see any form of manipulation or malpractice in what was done there for those retail investors?
Julie, I think the best way to sort of put it all together is when you have this kind of market activities, market volatility, the SEC's enforcement division certainly is going to investigate. The existence of an investigation does not mean that there is a violation of the securities laws, but I can easily see the enforcement division really looking at 3 things: fraud, manipulation, and again, we're talking about a New York Stock Exchange listed stock, so there's specific statute
Bro, what happened, bro? Are you so down? This dude is down bad, brother. He doesn't even have his office anymore. He's literally, he had to rent out his, I mean, he's a former senior counsel for the SEC. Like, he had to Airbnb his office immediately and start fucking working out of his grandson's room, dude. It's like, fuck all my... as a former senior counsel for the SEC, I have to disclose to you that all of my funds are tied up with Melvin Capital, and therefore I'm getting fucking cleaned out tomorrow. So I had to immediately Airbnb my office, which is why I'm tuning in from my grandson's bedroom. I've already sold him off to child slavery. It's time that little shit brings home some bacon.
Statute within the Securities Exchange Act of 1934 that actually defines manipulation, and that's certainly something that they will look at. And we'll also look at whether there were enough investors somehow to be perceived as forming a group that may actually give rise to a group disclosure obligation, which on the other hand, you can argue, well, that's usually for affecting change within a company, in whether it's be for corporate governance or other purposes, and that's not really the purpose here. I think fundamentally what the SEC is looking at is what, and needs to know from a regulatory perspective, is what is going on here. There's plenty of regulation in place to protect all investors, whether it be the funds, whether short or long, whether in the individual investors. But one of the things that I've been advocating for, and I still do, I mean, look, overnight pre-trading, the stock hit $450 a share. I mean, you look at the fundamentals, there's a complete disconnect. You know, are we moving away from fundamentals being important? These are all issues that the SEC does need to grapple with. I don't know if it's more regulation, but I do think there is scrutiny, and there needs to be a real focus at the SEC level as to not how to stop it necessarily, because we've seen momentum trading. Momentum trading is not going to become illegal. It's really more a matter of what is going on here, and are there market phenomena? Do the circuit breakers really work, or are they sort of old school in the current market? And what's the real motivation behind this trading? A lot of questions, good questions, important questions that I think can be solved in part by the SEC imposing a trading suspension. And to be clear, while the statute says it's for 10 days, the SEC could also, it says up to 10 days. So the SEC easily could step in, impose a 1 or 2 day trading suspension to try to create some order and stability in the market.
But when you've got a social media group and a bunch of people, and I want to go back to your very important point, I think, about when it's a group of individuals talking about doing something, and if they're not actually talking about the fundamentals, they're just talking about perhaps tackling the elites, whether that starts to look like collusion to adjust.
That's insane. That's not collusion, dude. That's so fucked up, dude. It's nuts.
A share price of a stock away from the fundamentals, whether that does start to look like something the SEC needs to investigate. But isn't this the point?
You raise a great issue. I think that's one that the SEC is really going to grapple with, because the SEC is not going to step in and regulate free speech. I mean, you know, but nevertheless, message boards historically have been a vehicle for stock manipulation. So these are the dynamics that the SEC is going to deal with. I mean, you know, merely, let's assume, just for the sake of oversimplifying, you know, this is a movement that is a combination of anti-short and anti-wealth. You know, does that in and of itself justify regulation? You know, the fact is, these are just new and different market forces that are at work, but where the SEC's mission is investor protection. The SEC...
Yeah, the SEC mission is to maintain stability and order by tapping the wrists of those in positions of power gently. Only gently, mind you. Every time they step out of line. Definitely not doing so to the congresspersons. Okay? And one way to implement order and stability is by making sure that there's some kind of investor protection now. The first time investors are making money. That's how you do it.
He wants to maintain fair and orderly markets. And the question is if there are now phenomena that are upsetting the ability to maintain fair and orderly markets, that's where the SEC needs to look at approaches to, intervening. And the simplest way to do that is by creating the SEC version of
This guy and his quick bio persuaded the SEC not to bring an enforcement action against the CEO and CFO of a New York Stock Exchange listed company with $1 billion market cap after forensic auditors reported financial fraud. Persuaded the SEC not to bring an enforcement action against the CEO of a digital media company in an SEC investigation beginning at the Wells submission post-Wells notice stage. Persuaded the SEC not to bring an enforcement action against the CEO of a NASDAQ-listed diverse holding company in an SEC investigation of insider trading associated with a pipe and open market transactions. I know Robinhood is re-enabling trades tomorrow. Yes, to be fair, halts are done all the time when a stock sell-off catches fire, but I agree with you. They fuck the average person when they actually are making money. Disgusting. Like these people in positions of power, straight the fuck up, only exercise some sort of regulation. Remember their regulatory muscles when it is literally poor people doing the same thing that rich people have been doing.
Of a trading halt, and it can do so for a short period of time, but
And no, Robinhood is not dead after this, dude. You're crazy. You're crazy. The only reason why Robinhood could potentially be dead after this is if they actually close out. They are, lol? Dude, I don't think they are. I don't think they are. Those lawsuits are bullshit. The only reason why they would be dead after this is if they don't capitulate to the pressure that market makers are probably putting on them currently. If they side with the hedge funds and if they side with the wealthy, they'll survive. They need those people to continue doing business. I think they need their relationship with Citadel more than they need like active users who are going to be there now more than ever because their fucking active usership probably skyrocketed in the past couple of days. People will forget. It just depends on how they operate in the next couple of days. His son is in his office at his trading desk right now buying shit tons of GME. That's why he had to move to his room. His son's eating tendies, dude.
Itself as saying there needs to be clarity as to the information that is in the marketplace that is causing this stock to move.
Because this is the key, I think. And I understand your point about not limiting free speech, but where does not limiting free speech and then identifying something that's pump and dump, 21st century style, 2021 style pump and dump, and this is the key.
Right. Well, Julia, let's dial the clock back.
If this is a pump and dump, then like short selling is illegal going forward. Like there's no way that you can consider this to be a pump and dump, and then when there's no active coordination beyond like people fucking writing on a subreddit. And then people getting in on the journey when they see the fucking spaceship take off. If that's a fucking pump and dump, well, it's just a pump so far. But if that's a fucking pump and dump, then what the again? Every single hedge fund should be out of business, and what they're doing is illegal. what she's doing could technically be seen as illegal from that point of view. If a subreddit post is now enough for like coordinating a pump and dump, then what the fuck are you doing at CNBC or CNN as